Hi, welcome to today's Talk of the Town. I'm Sandy Benson. We have got quite an interesting show ahead for you, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. Joining me first, resigning from the field of education after 23 years, Mike Sanz, speaker, writer, and visionary, now spends his time helping kids that struggle daily with what has become a very real threat to our children in and out of school, bullying. Mike joins the show today to talk about a new program he has developed called Bullied, Hurt, Healing, and Hope. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Sandy.
This is a really serious and prevalent problem today.
Absolutely. It's a major issue that affects so many kids, teachers, parents, and there are so many survivors out there that are struggling.
Right. And so what is your role? What makes you the choice as a speaker? What's some of the experience you've had?
Well, I bring a very personal perspective to this. I was bullied severely as a kid, particularly in middle and high school. And those pains have carried through for many years. It's been a long process of healing. And so when I make a presentation to kids, I really get down to the point where I'm showing the feelings that I was feeling during this time. I want to show the kids how I feel. I also want to show the bullies that a moment of laughter can lead to a lifetime of pain for the victim.
Right.
So, I get very personal. I want to show kids the pain, and I'll give you a real quick example. I was spit on a lot, and I want them to understand what being spit on is like. I mean, we spit on the ground and then we step on it.
Right.
And to have been spit on, you feel like you are something in the dirt that is being stood on.
And so low.
Right, and so I think I use this very personal approach, and I think because it's very powerful, it's very effective.
Yeah. So what are some examples you've seen with the success of the program? So the program is called Bullied, Hurt, Healing, and Hope.
Right. So far, what I've done is I spoke to a number of student groups this summer. I launched this summer, and a number of boys and girls clubs and summer camps. What I have found already is that as I'm speaking to the kids and then see the looks on their faces, they'll come up after me and they're sharing, and we've already had some kids that have come up and told me something that I've had to connect them to a director so that we could do something about it.
Right.
And the hard thing about it is so many of the kids are afraid to tell someone. That's the biggest thing. They're afraid that the bullying will get worse, or they're afraid that no one's going to listen. And so I stress the importance that you've got to have someone in your life that you trust. You've got to tell them, and things will get better. And in just the few presentations I've made this summer, we have already picked up on a couple kids who needed help, and we've been able to help them.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That is so wonderful. So other than students, are your presentations tailored for other types of groups?
Absolutely. First of all, for the kids, I have a different type of presentation for 6-year-olds all the way through 18.
Okay.
Age appropriate. I find that the smaller kids, you get really down with them, and they do a lot of sharing very easily, and you can pick up on that and develop your program as you're going along. When you get to of course the 12 through 14, 15-year-olds, you've got to catch them. And the way you do it is these stories, I think, are powerful enough that it holds their attention and brings these emotions out. But I also have a plan in place, a program in place for parents and teachers. The parents program is called Listening to What Your Kids Are Not Saying.
Yeah.
Because, as you know, when you ask your child, how you doing, a lot of times just fine. You've got to probe. You've got to find out if there's an issue. One parent came up to me after a presentation and said, after I heard what you went through and the kind of changes you went through, I noticed them in my son. I went to him, we got him to talk, we found out he was bullying, and we were able to deal with it. I also have a teacher program, a seminar in place, so that teachers can develop a proactive approach, a response, a recognition, and then a rethinking of how they're going to work with these kids that are bullied. I've also developed a program for grandparents, because a lot of grandparents are concerned about what their kids are going through. They don't know that much about it.
Right.
So it's informational. It's also strategies and how they can help their children help their children.
Yeah, that's very important. That's very important. So do you have any quick tips or advice for parents?
The number one thing is you've got to be a pain. You can't just accept everything's fine. You have got to say to the kids, talk to me, tell me what's going on, and you
really have to probe.
You've got to probe, and that's good parenting. And it's not always pleasant, but it's important, because once you can get the kids to express a little bit and you see what's going on, you can help them through this, and that's the key, a very important key.
Yeah, very important key. So what's your vision for the project?
The vision is that this becomes a national program. Now, I'm just one person, and bullying has been going on for a long time. We used to call it teasing, now we have it bullying. Of course, I think kids today are bullied in a much more difficult way than back when.
Sure.
I'm aging myself, but bullying ended when I came home.
Right.
And so
now there's cyberbullying.
Right. So in the middle of the night, you can be texted, Facebooked, and all these other things, and told, "Hey, we don't like you. You're ugly. You're this. And if you come to school tomorrow, we're going to beat you up." It's a constant pressure on these kids, 24/7.
Right.
The vision is that, first of all, we develop a national coalition. Myself, with other people, working with all those other anti-bullying programs around the country, coming together to develop a program of deterrence. And the reality is this: kids sometimes, as we know from the drinking and driving issue, you have to keep reminding them every year. We've been through it every year. We see the terrible things that happen. You have to keep reminding them. So that's part of the program, is that every year, I think every school system in this country should have a very set bullying program to begin each year, so that they can make sure it's in place and we can be proactive.
Right.
Because
But Mike, we have all your information on the screen.
Right.
It's MikeSanzEducate.com.
Right.
And I've been on the website, and it's a lot of really good information. People can find out about the program. They can find out a little bit about you and contact you.
Absolutely. I'm hoping to do as many presentations throughout Beaufort County through the rest of the summer.
Right.
Any nonprofit that would like to contact me, there's no cost. I'd like to just get the word out to as many students and people as possible. And eventually, over time, I'll be moving on to schools and organizations in Beaufort County throughout the country.
It's a terrific effort. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate it.
Well, thanks, Sandy. I appreciate it.
And we will be right back with Talk of the Town.